Hi, Tony Franquito here, and welcome aboard Starship Planet Earth, where we explore quantum reality. Okay, today we're going to continue on. This is the second painting in a series that I created. It was given to me through the Universal Presence, the quantum reality was downloaded into me one night. I just couldn't sleep, and I kept waking up actually for a number of weeks. And these images would come to me, and then I would have to get up, and I went down to the store, down to the art store, bought some materials, and started painting. And this is one of the things that came up too. So this is a painting. This would be number two. The first one was called Victim Consciousness, and it kind of showed us the noise of the mind and our soul, which was hidden from us. It was never shown to me as a child, but I always knew something was off, and I was looking for the meaning of love. And it didn't mean relationships. I had plenty of those, but they never really filled my soul. And at the time, I had, I wasn't real wealthy, but you could say that I was well off. I had a couple of houses. Yeah, I was in debt. I had cars and motorcycles and things like that. So I was living pretty good, but I was missing something inside. Okay, so here is the second painting, and this is called The Awakening. This means that I'm now moving from a victim consciousness, the noise of the mind, and being every thought in my head. And I start to break through some of those thoughts. I start to tap in, and I start to wonder and ask the right questions. I'm beginning my practice. I'm beginning to seek the truth. I'm beginning to touch that. So what this painting represents, and remember, I'm not saying that this is a great painting or anything. This is just something that I woke up with, and this is a gift or talent that I do to use to express the oneness of the universal presence going through me. Your gifts will be different. Might be art, might be painting, might be drawing, might be a mathematician, you might be a beautician, you might be an accountant, good with math, whatever the case may be. Your gifts will be revealed to you, and you'll have your purpose on this starship as we travel through the quantum reality. So let's keep this in mind, because we're going to go somewhere with this. Let's just stick with this painting for the moment. Okay, so I started to practice, and I started to have an awakening, meaning that I knew that there was something greater. Okay, so what this represents down here is you see an eye, and the white is our true essence, our light being. Okay, so that was who I was. And then I have a blue eye here. Okay, the blue eye meaning it was naive and innocence. So think of an innocent child with wide eyes and just in that alpha state, just willing to learn and just being free, just living from that heart space. They don't know the difference between, they have their frontal lobe hasn't engaged yet, so they're really living in a couple different dimensions all at the same time and absorbing everything. They're really just pure love, right? But they express everything, so it's amazing. So then over here, what he's looking at, what I'm looking at, the heart is looking at, is up here to the left. We're going to see source, pure love. Okay, and source is coming down in these waves. Okay, that's true love, but you wind up with a nice wave. Okay, so it's coming, it's a nice expression where it's creativity, and it's warm and it's gentle, and we see the colors of warm and gentle, like the sun rising. We're getting that fuel. Okay, now what we have down here is protected soul is looking out, and you can see there's little darts shooting out. There's a defensive barrier here. There are more darts shooting out. These are straight lines. We get red, and this another great wall of protection. Okay, so we have wounds, blocks, limitations, beliefs, not enoughness, whatever they are. We've been wounded in some way as a child and throughout our lives, and we have a lot of misgivings, beliefs, thoughts, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper in some other videos. But right now, that's what that represents. So this is our wall. One, two, I have a couple of them here. And then as I project out into reality, into this 3D, what I'm projecting here is a lot of straight shots out. And these straight shots out are, judgment, hatred, resentment, detachment from who I am. Okay, so then I've got another wall out here, and this is the way I projected the world. And I'm not sure if everybody does, but this is something that represents a state of consciousness. So I'm really looking out at the world, and I'm blaming the world. I'm blaming people, places, things, events, institutions, money, credit cards, my mother, my father, my brothers. They did this to me. The institutions, they did this to me. Always pointing blame at somebody else. Okay, trying to avoid the pain and taking ownership and really getting in touch with who we are. And I knew something was off, so I started the practice. So here we show these darts heading out. You see some of these tips are very sharp, okay? But the awakening is now I've recognized, I've looked, and I recognize there is source. And I've begun to drop my guard. And you can see here the state of consciousness rounded here, it's rounded here, it's rounded here. And what's happening is I'm starting to break through, to drop these false beliefs, okay, to actually open up. So we start the awakening path. We start to deprogram ourselves, okay? I start to deprogram all of these thoughts that are running through my head, and I start to clear the noise in the head, the noise in the mind, the noisy thoughts, and the emotions that go with it. We'll dive into that too. We get into thoughts that turn into actions, intentions, and emotion runs with that. And then we get what thought is, and we'll dive into that in another episode. But right now, that's what this representation is. Okay, it's called the awakening. When we realize and we listen to that little intuition in our heart space, something is off. I'm seeking the truth. I'm seeking the truth. What is love? I'm trying to find it in relationships and other people and objects, and there's never enough money. And I could have, I've talked to people, I talked to this one gentleman, he's worked $97 million. Miserable. Okay, he was just miserable. He was broken. All of his relationships were broken. He was trying to figure out how to fix them. Okay, well, you can't fix it from outside. It has to come from the inside. We fix this, but then everything else on the outside changes. Our energy changes, we change, and we become, as we journey to become one, and we live as one through this body, here we are. Okay, so that's what this represents. And we're going to move on to the next one. It will be series 3, number 3rd painting in a series of 4. And as I mentioned before, the 4th painting is not complete yet. It just came to me a little while ago. I don't know when I'll be able to paint it, but I am working on it. My plate is full right now trying to launch this thing because we have a lot of work to do in a very short amount of time. We, as a human race, are traveling the starship, and it has been hijacked. And right now, what we're doing is learning how to take our power back and to take our starship back. Okay? So that's it for today. I'll be talking to you in the next episode. This is Tony, signing off. Peace and blessings.